Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to the Love Podcast. This is the podcast for fantasy football, the only thing we love, baby. Woo!
Oh, beautiful.
Listen to that piano.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
What's that from?
That's Adam playing right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. At this moment.
That was actually me playing piano, and I have no idea how to play piano.
Oh, nice.
Well, you got that
Yeah,
idea
but I
how
can
to play
I
piano.
know that you put your fingers so far apart and you go done. That's how you get like that, and then you go whatever you hit over here. So just
See, I
Got it.
was under the impression you were an excellent podcast or piano player because
Podcast piano player.
of former amazing lyrical geniuses like Brennan.
That was a good that video up. That was a good song.
All right, so this is the music podcast. Now, what are we talking
Music
about?
podcast. So welcome to the podcast. Dave, you want to introduce it?
Introduce it. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Podcast, Episode 2. Adam's joining us today. He wasn't here last week because he had throw up on his shirt. He's the first other member we have.
Yes. So I feel like last week we hit on a lot of topics all around like the spectrum of what our league is. But I was thinking we'll just start off and let's do a little bit of a walk through history from the beginning, and then we're going to introduce Adam's team and all things Adam's history today. So Adam's going to be on the hot seat, and we're going to have fun
Beautiful.
with this. So
Fantastic.
so let's just say, all right. So from the get go, I think we might have said some of this, but we're a 10-team league. We started off as a 10-team league 10 years ago. And then for how many years was it? Was it 3 years or so? We dropped to an 8-team league. Maybe it was only 2 years.
I don't remember.
It was whenever Luke was out. And so I would just rattle off names, but some of those who have fallen by the wayside don't even deserve to be shouted out right away in the league. But currently we're a 10-team. Currently we're a 9-team league. We will be a 10-team league by the time we restart the season. But I think it was about 2018. Is that correct, Adam? You were added.
That was the first.
Adam came along in 2018. So let's, for the viewers' sake, if they really want to get into our league, let's see, 2012. No, 2000. What was our first year? 2013. I'm gonna look now. Hold on.
2013, I think.
2013 would have been our first year. Yeah, 2013 was our first year, and who won that year? That was David Eric. David Eric was the champion that year. 2014, Joel won. 2015,
Of course.
the only name that you need to remember so far that's going to be mentioned was Dave. Ooh, my notifications dinged really loud in my ear. Sorry. Dave won in 2015. That was all while it was an 8-team league, correct? I believe.
Correct.
Yeah. And then
And only 4 teams made the
only
playoffs,
4
right?
teams made the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have been out
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah. Now it's now 8 teams make the playoffs. I like it the way it is now.
It's got to be better than Louis and
Let's
Adam.
see. And then
That's all I got. That's all I need.
Only for last year.
2016. Any guesses of who won that year? Do you guys remember? Test of your trivia.
Joel?
Nope. Hoffa.
Hoffa.
That was the year.
Hoffa.
That was the year. Too bad none of us won.
Broken trophy
The
year.
trophy was in Dave's hands. He put it in UPS.
United States Postal Service.
Mm-hmm. Shout
you
out.
put in the post. Okay, not
Not
UPS,
shout out.
but the postal
No,
service.
it was the United States government that destroyed our trophy.
Yeah. By the time that thing got to Hoffa, supposedly at least, when we saw it
Allegedly.
again, that thing was in 12 pieces.
For all we know, Hoffa took it out of the box and dropped it.
Yeah. Probably did. He probably tried to do some terrible things. All right.
Because I packaged that real good.
So that was 2016. Hoffa won, and then I believe I'm looking here just to make sure I'm saying this right. Yeah, 2017 and 2018, Joel won back to back, and that was his last year in the league, right? Adam then came along, first year in the league in 2018, right? So, Adam, you've been in this league now 4 years.
Way too long.
This will be your fifth year coming up this year.
Amen.
Yep. If you have yet to win it. 2019, I won. And then it's not last year anymore. 2020, Brian won. And then just this past year, Nate won in 2021. Right? So there's our list of champions. So two of you guys here have never won. We mentioned that last week.
Never won.
But
Yeah.
so you've been at how many years then, Luke?
Mention it every
Keep
week.
hitting my mic, sorry.
I think I missed 3 seasons, something like that. Yeah.
Shout out to
Definitely the
Luke,
first
though.
one.
He changed his shirt for the podcast today.
I did. I still have the other shirt sitting over here too, so just in case we need a wardrobe change for a second
That
podcast.
was maybe my favorite part. He kept saying, "I've brought different clothes to wear for the podcast last week."
I
As soon
never,
as the podcast ended, we said, "Luke, you never changed your shirt." He goes, "Oh man, no, I didn't." That was amazing. All right, so Adam,
you
questions.
guys,
Go ahead,
yes, sir.
Luke.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hold on. I want it to be said, I only lost to you by like 7 points.
Nobody cares.
It was a lot, but it was
You
just
sound
so
like me
close.
last week.
I
lost to Nate by like less than 3
Close.
points.
Yeah, loss is a loss, Alan.
It sucks.
Well, sometimes we got to hold on to how close we
That's
were.
right. So Adam, I'm gonna hit you with a couple of questions that we all answered last week. What's your favorite thing about this league?
Well, so far it's been the offline draft that we've been doing.
Oh, that was a
That
good
we
time.
all get together for the draft. That's number one, and then number two would definitely be that we kind of we've been trying to keep the scores consistent so that like the records maintain. So looking through the records has been fantastic.
So the scoring all makes sense.
Anything else, Alan?
I mean, I've been in some wild scoring leagues that have you're getting 1,000 points in a week, but we don't do none of that nonsense here.
None of the nonsense.
Legit.
This is no nonsense podcast.
The no nonsense league.
That's right. So, Adam, if you had to describe your fantasy football play in the last 4 years, how would you describe it?
Erratic.
Erratic.
Like,
Why don't you talk
Oh,
about
man.
how you traded like 80
So-
times 2 years ago?
That was last year. Yeah, that was not this
2019.
2 years ago.
recent year, but the year
2019, yeah.
before. So I got the second pick, I think, in the
that's
in
accurate.
the draft.
Christian McCaffrey.
And so I got Christian McCaffrey, and I was ready. I was ready for this amazing season. And then Christian McCaffrey went down, and I spiraled to this dark, deep place that was like, I have to do something. I have to go wild. And then I just started trading. I said, I'm not going to win this year, so I'm just going to see how many trades and acquisitions I can do. And that's one of the things that led to the different trade representations that came up. Because people like Luke didn't want to hear from me. Didn't want to talk trades with me by the end.
Brad was representing my trades.
That's right.
Trade Rape Incorporated.
Because every week I sent everyone like a couple trade offers. I think I had 80-something transactions that year with waiver wires and trades.
You had 86.
That was a lot.
86. But you're giving
86.
You're giving yourself a lot of credit as if they were all trades. Like, you might have talked a lot of trades, which you did, but I would wake
I only
up in the
traded
morning
3-4
and it would be
times.
like, it would say like at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., Adam like dropped a wide receiver, and then at 4 a.m. he picked up that wide receiver, right? And it was just like,
I was waking up in stress.
you were like dropping people and then picking them back up. Like, I shouldn't have dropped them, and then it was like ridiculous numbers of additions and drops, and it was like, what are you doing?
Who
My
was
stress
the?
would wake me up in the middle of the night when waivers cleared just to see if I could catch anybody that somebody dropped.
Who was that wide receiver you had, or not? No, tight end. It's a tight end, and you kept like talking him up, and then you drop him, and then pick him back up, drop him, pick him back up.
Who was that tight end?
Ah,
I don't even
he's on the
remember who I
Patriots
had on
now.
the team that year.
Wasn't that Hunter Henry that year?
Oh,
Hunter Henry.
That was like the
Yeah.
whole year.
He did it right this past year.
Oh,
He did all right this year.
man.
So you actually finished second place that year, though, too. That's the year that you lost to me.
No, that was the year after I lost to you.
Mm-mm. No, so yeah.
Are
So
you
the
sure?
year you had
No,
86
'cause,
acquisitions is the year you got second place. You lost. So the next year,
What?
your story probably applies to both years because the next year you had the second pick. You took Christian McCaffrey again, and you had
No,
70 acquisitions that year.
Well, that was the
And then
year
you finished in fourth.
How did I have more? Oh my gosh! So I had more transactions before I
spiraled
out of
both
control.
years.
So I'm in.
You just
I'm in
always
active
spiral.
recovery. I'm in active recovery. This year I did better. It wasn't great, but it was better.
Well, nobody wanted to.
Hey, you got Miles Sanders,
You
didn't
still
you?
had
Hey, I got Miles.
you still had
Sanders
50 acquisitions.
for Keenan
this year.
Allen. See, 50. That's improvement. That's all I'm here for.
Almost cut it in half.
Almost
still-
cut it in half. It'll
that's
stay
still
around
quite
50,
high.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
Yeah, well, I'm never satisfied.
No, you never are you?
I also said I would never trade with you again, and then I was the first
you
one to trade
did,
with you.
because about 30 minutes after you said that, I sent you that trade for Keenan Allen and Miles Sanders, and you accepted faster than I could blink.
Like just
I thought I'd never get rid of Miles Sanders again.
Just for
I was
like
laughing about that
comparison,
hearing that last week.
like Nate had a year. He won last year, right? He had
Yes, he beat you.
his first year. Nate had 4 acquisitions the entire year.
Yeah.
Last year, this last year when Nate won, he had 18 acquisitions. You had 86 one year.
86, Adam.
Well, so let's say
You
I
are
at least have
disgusting.
One waiver wire pickup a week. That's like 16 or 17.
Did he say one waiver wire?
At least one.
Oh.
Sometimes 4. Sometimes 3. It's the grass is greener on the other side. I just want what I can't.
This
what I don't
whole
have.
we have a change to our waiver wire, like how it's going to work. The rules, right? We're going to be a what do you call it? It's the fab budget. It's the everybody will have allotted money, and then every week it's basically an auction, right? So somebody goes on the waiver, you can put up about. Is that going to stress you out more?
No, it's gonna. I think so. I've said this every year, so it'll ultimately be wrong, but I think it'll pull me back a little bit. That's why I was in favor of it. So it's not just like grabbing whoever you can. I got to weigh the risk reward and how much I paid in for that person. Because like this year, I picked up Elijah Mitchell, and after a couple weeks, just like dropped him like hotcakes, and Dave picked him up, and he did great. And so I can't be doing that.
So we haven't.
Yeah, most of your transactions are like terrible too.
Yeah, no, it's just all bad decision making.
He's made some good ones,
and
like when he traded me Jonathan Taylor. No, I traded him Jonathan Taylor. I got Nick Chubb and DeAndre Hopkins. Dave hated that trade.
And that was
Dave did not like the trade.
I gave him Jonathan Taylor and James Robinson. That was 2 years ago. Not last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, but that was a year before. Like if that would happen this year, that'd just been like ridiculous.
Jonathan Taylor was on the verge of becoming what he was this year, the year before, which is why that trade
was on the verge. It just didn't happen.
He had an okay end. Like they started outperforming like in the middle of the season, but at the end of the season, it was the guys I gave away.
I know Robinson was doing well for me this past season, and then Jacksonville just gave up all hope in humanity.
Man, can I share my favorite story about Adam?
Please.
Oh, please.
So we do a fantasy football get-together, as we mentioned, in the one year we went camping, and that was the year Adam really took everything serious. He listened to podcasts, everything fantasy football.
He was an expert.
We went to use.
I still listen to most of those.
We went to
I'm
see.
Still that bad.
We went to the shower house early in the morning, and we hear water running, and Adam's in the shower just listening to fantasy football podcasts super loud while he's showering. In the shower. And that was my favorite because that was when you were taking it super serious. You were trying to find all the ins and the outs, even in the shower, butt naked.
Well, I had to listen. I wanted to listen to something in the shower, and so I turned that on, but I had to turn the volume up all the way because my ears aren't that great. And then I came out of the shower. That's all you could talk about.
And don't you use like a trade rating thing online or something like that? Like you rate the trades?
I have done that. I've used RotoTrade, but I like it because it has memes on it, and so I can send it to people, and then they can not be convinced.
So that's a subscription required there?
No.
That's a good transition because this podcast is brought to you by RotoTrade.
RotoTrade, thank you. Rototrade, thanks for helping us out.
I don't have.
That was like 3 years ago, Adam. The shower, Adam, though. You died down on like trying to find the ins and outs.
You know what I love about Adam in this
still
league?
Still listen to those podcasts. I got AirPods now. I'm not in the shower, but I don't listen to it in the shower because you made fun of me for that. But I still listen to them. But I don't take too much stock in them because it hasn't helped me yet.
Yeah, if it did, then everybody would be winners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
It's true.
And we're not.
Here's my favorite thing about you
Especially
in this
me.
league, Adam, is that I feel like it's probably a safe bet to say everybody in this league that we have left in this league really wants to win this league. Like, I think that's 100% how it is. I mean, I know at least for the four of us, it's like we definitely want to win, right? But somehow, Adam, you take it to like the next level where you let it show in like all of your stresses, right? Like,
I can't hide it. I'm an
like as soon as anything like we went on a vacation this year and Adam had the worst season ever, right? I don't even know what your record was.
I had 3
Yeah,
wins.
it was bad. And
It was worse than
you
me.
would just see
11.
Adam pick up his phone on vacation and just like this horror would come over his face. And Dave would go, "Stop looking at your fantasy team, Adam." And like it honestly is what he was doing, right? Like he was really
I don't think it was horror more than just abject.
it was like
depression.
really traumatizing to him. I think you said to me
We
before
don't
the
use
season,
big words on this
like, I
podcast.
don't know what I'm going to do if I don't win this league.
I feel that every year.
Gosh.
I feel like when I wake up, honestly, Sunday afternoons, sitting down, and I'm like going through my fantasy team, and if I like get just crushed in anything, I'm just having a terrible day on Monday, and just I'm overly invested.
And I appreciate that about you, though. I also hope you never win.
Yeah,
True.
well, that's fine.
But I hope everybody other than me never wins because I hope I win every year. That hasn't happened.
Amen.
I just can't wait to see what we have to do when Luke wins.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Winner deciding the draft order
I
and
don't know.
such.
It's probably not going to be safe.
Luke got close. Was it,
It's not gonna
was
be
it last year you got second
We're
place?
on Nitro Circuit.
Yeah, was that last year? No, it wasn't last year. It was the year before.
Yeah,
I lost to Brian.
Well, not like
Barely
I don't
made
mean
the
last
first
year, not
improv.
like this past year. Yeah, I meant the year before.
Yeah, year
So
before.
20.
No, last year I was sniffing at the
Yeah, you were.
the
You couldn't
last
remember
place
what place
there.
you finished last week when Dave asked you.
Yeah, just because I knew I
True.
finished ahead of Adam and Louie. That's all I needed.
gosh.
Yeah,
Hey, I lost in the championship game 2 seasons ago against Brian, so
that's funny.
made the podium.
So,
Adam didn't.
Adam, you have currently your average draft pick based on all the years that you've been in this league. Like you picked 9th, you picked 2nd, you picked 2nd, you picked 6th. So your average pick is 5th. So let's say
You should go 5th.
let's say you get the 5th pick right now in this year's draft. Who are you taking?
Man, I haven't listened to enough podcasts to figure that out.
We got
You know
to
what I mean?
say which 5 do you think will be off the board? Jonathan Taylor.
So Jonathan Taylor. I still think Dalvin
4,
Cook and Christian McCaffrey go. Although in our league, maybe a quarterback or a tight end or a defense might go first. You never know.
defense.
You said
The defense.
I'm going kicker. All right, so in our league, you got Jonathan Taylor gone and Jamar Chase gone.
Yep.
Yeah, Jamar Chase gone,
Maybe
Austin
AJ
Eckler, and then yeah, maybe Austin Eckler would be gone, Dalvin Cook gone. So I don't know. I mean, I'll be sitting there thinking about a wide receiver or like
You could probably get Christian
a
McCaffrey.
leftover running back.
Yeah.
Maybe if he's there, but I don't know if I want to
Rekindle that love.
round pick on him. I don't know. It depends on what Aaron Rodgers is doing. If Aaron Rodgers stays in
Aaron
town,
Rodgers.
Devontae Adams
You
is
taking Aaron Rodgers?
might be an interesting pick.
He's taking Aaron Rodgers first round.
That's good. That's great.
No,
for the
that's
rest
not
of
what
us.
I
That's
said.
great for the rest of us.
Throw it on the top of the list.
That's right. We'll see. We'll see what's there. You know, I'll probably go running back. That's just my style. But I can't.
Your first year,
imagine
you
who
went
would be
Aaron
there.
Rodgers first pick, so
I did a Louis the first year. I had 3 or 4.
you definitely
quarterbacks.
did.
No, I don't think you did. Louis,
Yeah,
did you?
he had like 3 quarterbacks.
I did.
Oh,
But
did he?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
my
think
word.
you went like as close together with your first 2 quarterbacks like Louis did.
No. So I don't. Yeah, that was wild. I couldn't believe it. After he took the 2 and he went to get Tua at the end, I was just I couldn't imagine what was going on. And then I knew the second you guys talked about it last week. I knew the second he picked up Kyler Murray that he was gonna hold both those guys the whole year.
Yep, that's all she wrote.
Never gonna trade him.
Well, he didn't.
It's actually all my fault.
He tried. He tried
He
to
tried to
trade.
trade.
He tried to trade. We talked about that last podcast.
Listen, I gave him Khalil Herbert and he accepted it.
Now, you made it sound in last week's podcast, as I listened to it back, like I somehow wouldn't allow a trade to go through. I just campaigned that.
Oh, did we make that sound like
I
that?
just campaigned
I mean,
that people should.
well, let's double down. I mean, you got on there and said this should not be a trade that's allowed. So,
But only if we all agree to it. Like, so everybody had to, at least the majority had to vote against it.
I voted for.
it's true. They did.
And then, in my defense,
You.
what, like the last, like, so probably after like week 7, I was like, all right, Louis, if you put him up for another trade, I will not veto. Like, I promise you I won't. And I don't think he ever made another trade for him.
He was too angry.
No, he didn't listen. You guys want to hear the top 10 way too early fantasy football mock draft?
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you mean?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah, just do it.
say
Yeah,
no,
sure.
y'all said nothing.
Sure.
No, I
That's
don't know what you mean,
That's
but
a good
I'll catch up.
Like somebody wrote
like-
a list of the top 10 people for next year.
Like,
It's
who's gonna
way
be-
too
Oh,
early
okay.
to know what
Okay.
the top 10 will be. I get
Yeah.
you.
I thought you meant like legit like mock draft that's too early. I'm like,
I thought
like
you were
right
gonna
now.
have a bunch
There's-
of defense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like literally. He wrote this on January 4th, but it was like Derrick Henry number 1, Jonathan Taylor number 2, Austin Eckler 3, Kamara 4, Mixon 5, Dalvin Cook and Christian
Mixon,
McCaffrey,
5.
and then Najee, Cooper Kupp, and Nick Chubb at the end.
No
At least
Jamar
for 10
Chase.
for us.
Cooper
Yeah,
Kupp.
they don't know that you're coming. You're gonna be there.
Who's Cooper Kupp?
Can't be doing that. That's what I was saying to Luke. I drafted Raheem Mostert, and Luke went, "Who?" And then 2 snaps into his first game, his knee was like, "I quit."
I think.
And so it was basically like I
Didn't you-
drafted
didn't
no
you
one.
sign him at waivers one year, like thinking he would be the guy, and we just kept telling you Raheem won't start. Raheem won't start.
I think so. That might have been I don't even know who was there then.
Listen, in a league of 10 teams and all these different positions, if the question comes up, did you pick him up off of waivers? There's a 97% chance Adam did.
Yep.
I mean, once you get past that top, the top 8 guys at their position, I picked them up and dropped them right before they had an amazing season.
Right before.
Right before. Like, I can't tell you the amount of people that I've dropped that have gone on to have.
Who's
good
like the
year.
worst?
I
Do you have,
mean,
like the one person you dropped that you're like, that was the worst drop I ever made.
It's only recent. Okay. There's 2 things this year that I remember distinctly. The first one was I picked up Elijah Mitchell in front of Deebo Samuel on waivers, and then you got Deebo Samuel, and because I said no way Deebo Samuel plays the entire season, which of course that means he's going to play the entire season.
Great take.
And the second thing is I dropped Elijah Mitchell, and then Dave picked him up when I went back to get him. Oh, the worst one ever was I drafted New England defense the year that they blew up, like that they were the best defense in the league. And I was like, I'll get them week 2. They got a bad matchup week 1. And then Luke goes, New England defense.
They're mine.
Don't mind
Oh
if
yeah,
I do.
I wrote that one
Picked
for a
them up,
while.
and they scored him like 20 points a week.
Yeah, they had a blowout. They had like a couple 30-point games, I think, that season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was probably my worst one.
Yeah, that was, I ended up trading that defense to Brad, right? Later in the season, and I got like position players for a defense.
Yeah, I gave you, but I was like, no, I want that's my missing piece.
Yeah, it didn't work out because I beat you in the playoffs, but
They didn't play as well at the end of the year.
then I lost to Brian, so it doesn't matter.
Dave
Failure.
Dave
No one
made the
remembers.
podium.
No one remembers a failure.
Mm.
Yeah, I was on the podium, but there's nothing
You made
nothing
the
exciting about it.
Podium sucks, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third place is where it's at.
I'd much rather be third place podium than second place
It's
podium.
the best feeling in
If
the
you're
world.
first place podium, you
Adam,
can celebrate the
your
podium
choice?
because you're the champion. If you're second place, you just
Now,
lost.
are
Nothing.
we going to bring it up here? My first choice was obviously the first place on the podium. But the year that Dave got third place on the podium for the first time is when the podium was erected. It was me and Dave in the 3-4 game.
Yeah, and you're still upset about it.
I am, of course.
Why?
I'm still upset about Brad beating me.
He's upset about our league advancing.
This is my name on the trophy is going to be one of the biggest achievements in my life. I'm naming it and claiming it right here. That's
I don't even know how to
calling
respond
it for
to
this year?
that. He called it.
Prediction that you're winning it this year?
Put on the list.
I do not
Do
deign
it.
to
Come
make
on.
I
this
need to come up with like
year,
odds.
but this is
We
my
need to come
Mount
up with
Everest.
odds and, like,
Before I die,
bet on it.
Before he
Grab
dies.
30-1 odds that I'll
likely it'll be
championship.
the last thing I do before I die. That I'll win, and I'll just be so elated that I'll just die.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine the survivor guilt for like a week if he died after he won?
That's right.
Especially the person who played you. All he had to do was beat you, and you would have
Why
survived.
did I let him win?
That's right. His heart couldn't take it.
It's like the survivor guilt I would have had when you guys got in the car with Adam after you dropped me off at that diner.
That's right.
We all almost died.
That would have been real.
No one was in actual danger.
No, Adam,
That's
all right,
interesting.
so here was
Scared.
that. So we dropped Luke off his diner, and Adam's driving. Adam's the worst driver I've ever been with in my life. It's.
That was just one time.
I've been with you more than once. Unfortunately, that was a mistake. But we had a big van full of us. I don't know how many there were, but I think I was I riding
There were like
shotgun?
4 of
Either
us.
that or I was right in the middle in the back. I don't remember. But anyhow,
I just hear the screams. That's all. I remember.
Adam's going, and I might be exaggerating a little bit, but it doesn't feel like in my mind.
You are.
I think he was going about 80, and
Towards a dead end.
and it was a dead end, and we all notice it's a
I was
dead
going
end.
40 and a
We
25.
all
and it
notice
was
it's
dark.
a dead end, except for Adam. He doesn't slow down,
Yeah,
and we're
that's
like,
true.
Adam, like, because there was another, like, it's a circle around, but then right across, like, this, curb and then grass patch, there was an exit from, like, this parking lot that he was trying to get out of, but you had to turn around and go back around to that exit, and he was just going to go right over that curb, like, boom, 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 and then, like, try to make the turn. And we're like, no! Like,
No. There was a guardrail there, so
All
I
of our
couldn't have
kids
made that turn.
almost
But there was
grew
like
up,
a
like,
ditch too. We
as
would have died.
orphans.
Yeah.
So I was only going 40, but it
I
was-
would have just
I
ended
don't
it
think
all.
we were going 40.
I was like, I was just in that car.
I promise I was
Maybe
only going
45
40
at
and
least.
on the 20. Okay, I'll give you 45.
See?
I'll negotiate.
At least 63.
But then we were driving with Dave the one
At
time, and
least
the
63.
windshield wipers weren't working, and he goes, "Oh, you guys see that too?
Just
It's not just me."
stop trying to pass blame.
There was one time.
Oh, I will.
I think I might
Listen,
have been
the
with
bus is
Brad. I
coming,
almost
I
drove
need
down the
friends.
wrong way of the highway.
Yeah.
Almost paused. That was like the same weekend.
Oh, so this was the best year camping. We go out at the Mohican campground in Ohio. We decide to go out to Target,
Shout out.
and Dave's driving. So we're driving, and then I was sitting in the back seat. Luke's in the front, and I'm just like, it's nighttime, and I'm like, Dave, I don't know how you can see out of that your what do you call it, windshield, because it
Windshield,
was
yeah.
so, like, his wipers were just smearing everything, like it was bad.
Terrible.
And he's driving, it's raining, it's nighttime, right? And I swear he was so relieved that I couldn't see that he completely like turned away from like the road, and he goes like, oh, I thought it was just me.
I thought I was losing my eyesight.
Oh my goodness. Because like
I just accepted it.
And then Luke's like, "Oh yeah, it is what it is." And then it was pouring rain. And we went and bought windshield wipers, and we were trying to figure out how to change the windshield wipers on your car standing out in the pouring rain. That was a good time.
No.
I watched.
The best part was we were at Target. Luke ordered a blow-up mattress. had it come out to the car because they were doing the drop-offs in the car. He dropped it off in the car. He goes back in the pouring down rain. Then we all park and we go in anyways. And the same guy checks us out. So the guy did not have to come out to the car to begin with. Luke had this guy walk in the pouring down rain, and we went into Target anyways.
Oh. Oops.
That poor guy. He said,
It was
"Oops."
great.
We're all like, "Luke,
We've had
Sorry,
a lot
bro.
of
you
memories.
better not buy anything and go down to his aisle." He's like, "That's the only one that's open." That's
A lot of memories.
Loudonville, Ohio.
Loudonville,
God bless the Mohican campground.
I know something fun we could do. Adam mentioned the Mount Everest, right? I'm not Mount Everest, the Mount Rushmore, right? So let's go through and do our 4 favorite players Mount Rushmore that we would put on our own Mount Rushmore. It doesn't have to be the best, just like your Mount Rushmore of like favorite
All
players.
time or right now?
Just all time. Any time in the history of the NFL.
Wow.
So take a second and
Kind of
think
spring
of it.
that on us.
Adam's probably
Could be
got.
any,
You want me
any
to go
position?
first?
I mean,
Yeah, any
Adam only
position.
has 3 or 4 years of football knowledge.
Just like
Can we duplicate?
your top
Does it
Because
have to be NFL?
Yeah. Let's
I'm
do.
just
Let's
picking
stick
all
within the
Buckeyes,
NFL realm.
if I could.
Stick within the
Maurice
NFL realm.
Clarett.
You're going Glenn Big Baby Davis. I remember. That was my best.
Well, I meant, like, of course, football, but I'm just saying, like, does it have to be based on NFL?
Let's stay within the NFL
what's your
because
favorite
you got a
Pee Wee
lot of
football
people that
players?
don't watch college football.
Yeah, well, shame on them.
are we all just doing 4 at a time, or are we doing one at a time?
Just do 4 at a time. You got yours, Luke? I can start if you want me
Go
to.
ahead.
I mean, if we're going from worst to best, Adams should start.
Okay, Adam. Yeah,
Yes,
you're
you
on
can
the
start.
spot.
Start with me.
You're on the spot. You're the.
He doesn't know
Oh,
football
no.
players beyond 4 years ago.
Oh, 4 years
He
period.
doesn't know them, period. That's why he's dropping
All
them
right,
all.
you want me to start?
Oh,
I
I'm
can
just going to
start.
pick Philadelphia Eagle fullbacks.
that's right.
Adam's over there
Start with
googling right
DeMarco
now.
Murray.
Adam's
Sam
over there
Bradford.
Googling
Yeah,
right now.
I should Google
Go ahead,
because
Dave.
I can't remember anybody.
All right, I'll go with Randy Moss for me. A lot are gonna be wide receivers. AJ Green, definitely. I'll go with Brian Dawkins because I gotta throw an Eagles in there. I liked Brian Dawkins growing up.
Took him.
And the last one, I'm really starting to like Jamar Chase, so I'll throw him up there too. So that'll be my 4.
I like.
Mostly wide receivers.
All right. I like that you want Brian Dawkins in there.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah,
gotta throw
that-
the defense.
That's surprising.
Because I was thinking defense, some defensive players too myself. All right, if I had to pick favorite player, like honestly, it's hard for me to tell you who my favorite players are if I'm not just going based off of college. Like that is a hard thing for me to do. So the reality is,
Well, I mean, most of them went to the
well, I
NFL.
know, but like I would say AJ Hawk was probably my favorite like guy to watch in Ohio State, and I was pumped when he went to the NFL. But I wasn't necessarily a diehard AJ Hawk fan in the NFL. But
What team did he play for,
I
Adam?
don't know who AJ Hawk is.
No, I have no idea. Did he play in the NFL?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Nick Bosa's older brother.
Yeah, he's in this,
And then I was about to say,
I'm a
I
big contributor to
could
the football
honestly
podcast.
probably just go the Bosa brothers and Chase Young, and I'd be happy with that. But I won't. So let me start over. So I would go. Randy Moss was the first one that came to mind for me.
Oh, yeah.
Chad Ochocinco, and then I think after that I'd probably go. That's a loaded question. Brett Favre. I loved Brett Favre when I was a kid. I
Oh,
was a big Brett
interesting.
Favre fan for a number of years. And then maybe Calvin Johnson, Megatron.
Yeah, Chase Young would have been a good pick. too.
Yeah, I mean, I could throw a lot of
Yeah,
defensive
that's
guys on
interesting.
there. I love the Bosas, both of them.
My favorite celebration of Randy Moss had to be when he pretended to moon. Where was he? He was in Lambeau Field, right?
Yeah.
Scored
Yeah,
a
he was
touchdown.
in Green
pretended to
Bay,
moon everybody. Adam, you're up next.
Come on, Adam.
Oh man. Well, I'll put Derrick Henry up there because I like it when like my favorite part is when somebody just runs through somebody. So I'll take Fletcher Cox too because again, recent in Eagles. Because I like to see him grip
Recent
people up.
and Eagles.
What?
He said, "I like when guys hit each other,
So-
and then when people grip them up." What do you?
Got
All right,
it!
keep going.
So many.
I like it. Guy, I mean, it's gonna be all guys right now, and it's all gonna be because of specific plays. So it's not even like who's the best
All right.
player to me, like who's the most.
No, it's like your
talented. It's just
favorite
the-
though.
throw
Like
some out
AJ
there.
Green.
The
I mean,
plays
you don't even know AJ Hawk.
that I love and still remember. There was
Nick Foles?
Oh, you gotta love some Nick Foles.
Carson Wentz. Please
So,
say Carson Wentz.
I mean, I love. I have big love for Carson Wentz. He can't make this list though. For
Is he about to get released again?
Yeah, he's about to be somebody's backup again, definitely. Okay, so Sam Bradford. No, I'm just kidding.
Two more, Adam. Let's go.
Okay, DK Metcalf, because when he ran down that Buda Baker, that play, I was just talking to somebody about that. That was amazing to me. And here goes the last one, a guy that never panned out, but he had one incredible play that I loved to see over and over again. It was I forgot who the team against it was, but it was like rookie Jordan Hicks on the Eagles, who just made this like beautiful in stride interception and just ran with it.
So you just go by like favorite plays. Like what you're doing my favorite play.
I mean, yeah. All right, Nick Foles catching it in the end zone, in the Super Bowl. I mean, because yeah.
No, you tried, Adam.
Luke shakes
that was
his head
good.
because I don't.
No, it's
remember
okay.
enough football.
It's okay.
I don't remember a football. All right, top four. Okay. So if I'm being serious, and there might be some haters out there for this, but Michael Vick, definitely love Michael Vick. And then when he became an Eagle, that was just even better. I forgot all of his past indiscretions and fell in love with him.
Let's take a moment of silence for all the dogs.
He killed a bunch of dogs.
Killed a bunch of dogs.
I mean, I'm sure he's
It's not funny.
changed his life.
Those dogs can never come back.
That's true. Definitely Michael Vick. I was also going into the Calvin Johnson realm. Loving Calvin Johnson. We're allowed to pick the same, right? Because Randy Moss. Okay. No. Daniel Thomason.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I love that guy. That was awesome. And a sleeper for you, Adam. Dante Hall. The human joystick.
I've heard that name before.
Nobody went. I try not to pick anybody that didn't.
Nobody went.
watch
I mean,
play,
and like the rest of the three of us could at least like go back in history and know players, but nobody went old school. Nobody went like Walter Payton. I mean, I get that. I get that the two of you wouldn't have gone Emmitt Smith, but like nobody went like anybody old. Jim Brown.
It would be interesting to see, like, I wonder, this is probably out there, but like a computer generated like fantasy football matchup with the old versus the new, like certain generation of players, and see how the current scoring, how they would do.
How they would fare in today.
I feel like there's some defensive players from like old school that would just probably murder something.
You know, now you ask this question, like I just
rules
keep
are
having
different.
players pop in my head, and I'm like, oh, I love them. Like Brian Urlacher,
Mhm.
like he was fun to watch.
Oh yeah, Urlacher, yep.
He was fun.
I always like
I
Terrell
was
Owens
watching.
too.
T.O.
yeah,
was,
Terrell
T.O.
Owens,
was
yep.
like
Yep,
awesome,
T.O.
and then he was like funny crazy, and then he was like crazy.
Yeah, that's like modern day now.
You can't call
Or
him
like Brandon
crazy.
Marshall.
Like I like Antonio Brown.
Brandon
I
Marshall.
love Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Brandon Marshall and Chad Ochocinco have a podcast
they?
they do. It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm not shouting out their
Chad
podcast on our
Ochocinco's a
podcast.
good one too. I love wide receivers.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Especially those personality guys.
Yeah. My favorite T.O. moment. He was an Eagle, and he had a press conference from the driveway of his house. And what's his agent's name? Drew Rosenhaus, or Rosen, whatever something. And they were asking him questions, and his agent's like, next question,
He's
like
just
repeat
working
just
out.
next question. And there's T.O. just working out.
Yeah.
And one of the guys who was asking questions like T.O. Do you feel like, what do you feel about your agent, Drew Rosenhaus, destroying your career? Right? And Rosenhaus is like, next question. T.O. just like, classic moment. YouTube it. You
I'm
find
kind
it.
of surprised that Dave doesn't have Zach Moss on his Mount Rushmore.
Hey, listen.
True.
He could have been big.
Every year at somebody.
He was right there,
Every year at somebody.
right on the cusp.
So Dave has this thing about him, right? That every year he has somebody who is mediocre at best, but that he hypes them up so much that somebody in the league at some point will pay way too high a value for this person. And you know,
To be fair,
if
You almost
if
got me
like
this year.
he got level-headed about it, which I don't expect this from you ever, Dave, but you probably would have dropped all of those players that you hype up. They are very droppable, but you never do because you're like, why would I ever drop them? Like it's Zach Moss. Like he's the guy.
There was no. I mean, I
Jacoby
did towards the
Myers.
end of the season because I needed to fill spots, but there was no reason to at the beginning with all the buys. But to be fair, I think Zach Moss did just as good as Mike Davis. So
Mike Davis.
and Jacoby Myers turned it up at the end of the season. He scored a touchdown. I'm pretty sure he scored a touchdown. His very first touchdown. You're welcome, Nate.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he was on Nate's
He
team when he
was.
put up or on his bench or something when he put up on 18
touchdown.
points or something like that. Good for him.
That's amazing.
You know who had a bench to fear this year? Adam.
Mm.
That bench was putting points up week after week after week.
There's different players every week too, because if they had a good week, I'd put them in, and then whoever I'd taken off would just score just tons of points. I didn't understand it. I still don't understand it.
So
I'm fantasy football cursed.
So, Adam, who do you think is going to be the best fantasy football player next season?
Nate really surprised me this season, so
No.
I can't count. him out. I
No,
don't
player.
think he's
Like
gonna be the
NFL
best
player. Who's going to put up the
Oh.
most points, everything?
I mean, if we're talking about our league, it should be yourself.
Nate is going to get drafted, and he's just going to be wild.
Nate Robinson.
Are we talking about non-quarterback or just in general?
Just in general, just who's going to be the best fantasy football pick next year?
Dante Hall.
Because
Dante Hall.
Jamar Chase made a
It's like
pretty
D'Angelo
good,
Hall.
No, Jamar Chase is going to be
pretty
terrible.
good case. Yeah, that's it. Start it now.
He's worse. He's already injured. You didn't hear about
Yeah,
that?
he's injured. He
Started
won't
now.
be there.
I think that Jonathan Taylor has an option. Has the opportunity to do that. So yeah, we'll
Are
go
you
with,
like a lawyer?
with Jonathan Taylor.
Do you feel like your words are going to come back to bite
I
you?
don't.
You can say what you need to say.
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, folks.
Jonathan Taylor has an option.
Jonathan Taylor. We've all seen how Adam's lawyer skills. They're top notch.
Well, I achieved my goal. But
Rest in peace.
here's the thing: is that I'm going to say Jonathan Taylor, and then 2 hours later, I'm going to be sitting at the table, just going, "Well, it might have been Najee Harris."
I mean, you
Christian
better stop
McCaffrey,
saying so many
Derrick
names. Because
Henry.
anytime you had somebody's name in your mouth, they got hurt this year. So
So nobody draft Jonathan Taylor.
Nope.
is that not what happened? Like you
I
how many
lost
guys did you draft
4
that were
running backs.
hurt within the week that you drafted them? Like that happened to Raheem
So
Mostert, Gus Edwards.
Raheem Mostert, yeah,
That's before the season even started.
Gus Edwards, and then Gus Edwards, Raheem Mostert, George Kittle went down for about a month. Robert Woods went out for the entire season. Antonio Gibson played through injury for the entire year, so he was bad.
When I traded you Miles Sanders, he then went down for a few weeks.
Yeah, Miles Sanders went down. I picked up Dawson Knox in the middle of the injury to George Kittle, and then he got injured during that time, which is half the reason that I dropped him. I think my kicker stayed healthy, but every other position, I just kept losing. I kept losing people. I think I had another receiver that went out for a few weeks. But I was working with Brandon Cooks and Corey Davis, so
You
I'm
did
really
good.
achieving.
That's right.
Good
Man.
I'm proud of you, Adam.
So here's a question then. I can just keep popping them off, all right? Would you rather in fantasy football make the championship game every single year but lose, or never make it?
Well, speaking from experience, never make it. I made it once.
I'd rather get there. I'd rather get there and lose
Every year.
I mean, if I
Every year,
knew
I've
the
got
alternative
every
was to
year.
never even have a chance at it, I guess I'd rather get there.
But the heartbreak, though,
That is a
you could. I
heartbreak.
mean, you could technically be in the podium game every
But
other
then you
year,
enjoy
so-
the whole league up until the last week, whereas every other
I mean that's
every
true.
other year you're like,
Yeah.
just another year. It doesn't matter.
You get a lot of win, and then it's just like Nate got me again.
Especially,
Stop talking Nate out that much. He's won once.
Have I ever lost in the championship? I've only been in one, I think, right? And I've won, right?
You here.
I'm pretty sure I was only in one.
I'll look for you.
Yeah, check it up, run it back. But I'd
Well,
probably
well,
never be in it.
As a lifetime fan of almost always being there with winning it once, but always thinking you're going to win it, knowing that I'm gonna lose no matter what, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, right.
I'd be the moron that, knowing I'm going to lose in the championship going into that week, I'm still thinking I'm going to win.
Yeah, even though you're going to lose. You know that, Luke.
So yeah, Dave, you won in 2015, and you've never made it back before that or since?
Undefeated in championship games, folks. You hear it.
Third place the last 2 years running on the podium.
Amen. I love it.
Podium.
Suck it, Adam.
So
Podium.
Did you answer your own question, Dave?
Yeah, I said I never want to be in it.
Never want to be in it. But like, what?
If I'm going to
what
lose,
does that
that's
mean?
heartbreak.
What does that mean? Like, you could finish third every year, or like?
Yeah, you could finish third.
So, like, would you rather? Well, then let me ask the question this way: would you rather always come in second or always come in 10th?
10th.
Oh,
No, second, because the
punishment.
punishment.
The
punishment,
punishment.
that
Punishment every year.
But does it
I
change
mean,
it enough? Are you willing to just take the punishment and be like, at least I didn't come in second? Because second place is a punishment in itself.
That's true. I'll take, and the fun of the punishment, I'll take that.
Depends on who's the
As
champion.
a person staring down potential punishment and the glee from everyone else at the thought of me being the one that getting punished, I got to take second place.
I'm
It's
saying second. What about
self-preservation.
you, Luke? Oh, you're getting punished. You're getting punished to
Yeah,
no
he's
I
end.
getting
probably,
punished,
I probably
so
like it too much.
I probably like it too much.
Oh boy.
38 pancakes.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Good stuff.
Should we? Is it appropriate, Dave, to, as you and I are part of the podium, to talk about some of the punishments that are ideas that are floating around?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Bring it
Can
up.
we talk? Yeah, we can talk about.
I think you should.
Because I think soon
Because this year I'm not a part of that.
Soon we're just going to give it to Louis so that he knows what it is, right?
Oh, we're gonna give it to him.
I am a firm believer of something on commissioning day though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right. So the first idea that went out there last year, we did the punishment on the draft weekend. The rule is that the punishment has to be finished before the draft starts, right? It can't affect the draft or anything going into the next season. But so last year, I think we briefly mentioned that Eric and then Brian joined him. They had to sit at a table for 24 hours, and every pancake they ate counted as a half hour off of their time. Right, so Eric ate like 30 some ridiculous amount of pancakes in a few hours and got up. But we talked about putting Louis out on a canoe for 12 hours overnight, and every time he caught a fish, it took off like 2 hours or something.
That's a good one.
He had to go like fishing for like 12 hours in a canoe on a lake. That was one of my favorites. Or we talked about like everybody bringing footballs and throwing them all over the lake, and he had to like canoe around the lake with no paddle to pick up all the footballs, and he couldn't come in until he picked up every single one.
And we just kept throwing them.
Yeah, those were a couple of them. But then we started thinking. So Louis is in seminary, right? And he's going to be getting commissioned this June. Is that when they still do that? Yeah, June.
Yep.
So we were like, what better time to capitalize and make him have to do something during commissioning? So what were some of those ideas, Dave?
Can we talk about the one? Well, the one was an eye patch. He had to wear an eye patch up on stage, which I think is very great. He had to wear an eye patch.
Still an option.
He had to
I don't
wrap
think
his
it'll
head
happen,
in
no.
like a bandage while he's up there. Because this stuff's like recorded in those photos forever. So like it'd be
Forever.
a perfect punishment. And then also we talked about potentially he wears a thong, which nobody else will see,
But we'll know.
but it'd be uncomfortable
That
for
would
him.
be-
Anytime you
that'd
see
be
him
a really
like
good one.
itching or readjusting,
So that's a high possibility
wedgie.
still.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard. To, see, we're all in the Salvation Army. If we're allowed to put that out there, we're going to lose our jobs now for sure.
Cut it.
But
Cut it.
I was saying that we should have him have to stand like at commissioning with a before commissioning with a kettle, like with a bucket and a bell, and like if anybody says like why are you bringing kettles at commissioning? It's like I need the money for my first appointment.
I need the money. Raising funds for my
Look, I think Luke offered to bring the kettle, the stand, and everything.
I did.
The whole thing.
I did.
So tune
Him
in
wearing
to
a thong
commissioning.
though would just be great because he could actually do it because his wife wouldn't know about it, and 2, we would all know.
We'd all know.
Yeah.
We would all
That's
know.
that's
But we would
ridiculous
need some
to me.
assurances. We'd need some proof.
I'll get assurance because I'll be attending as well, so I'll make sure.
Dave's gonna
He
pants
said,
him.
I'll get insurance.
I'm gonna test it. I'm like, Louis, come here. It's time for your check. Got to make sure, Louis.
Final uniform inspection.
You're being
sir.
punished. Come here. Come around this corner. Bathroom break.
That'd be amazing.
Oh no!
It's a bathroom break.
Not in the bathroom.
Bathroom
Oh
break.
man.
But yeah, it's gonna be good.
Adam
though.
loves the bathroom.
Yeah, no, that'll be fantastic.
It's gonna be great.
So, Adam, you actually didn't have an entirely disappointing season because you went into the postseason the 10th seed, and
Oh yeah, I just trounced Louis. For
you
3
came out on
whole
top.
weeks.
Was he technically the 10th seed?
I was. Yeah.
Oh,
Louis
wow.
had 4 wins.
Louis had 4
That
wins.
kinda-
Yeah.
That kind of takes away my rivalry victory a little bit. I'm always preaching Louis was the worst team in the league.
Well.
He was in the end.
I mean, now you're taking away Adam's thunder.
Don't take away Adam's stuff.
Now you demolished him.
Yeah, every 3 weeks. I was so glad it was Louis and not Luke, because against Luke, like I didn't know if my team could handle the end of the season.
Did you score more than 100 points any of those weeks?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Then yeah, you would have had it.
So let me throw out some trivia questions for you guys. No cheating by looking over at the records. So
Dave looked
if-
over.
I tried to study.
He's got the records right there. He's
I
like,
got a board right here.
all right, so these can include anybody who's ever been in the league, so, right? So it could be Joel, Manny, Chris, Brennan, even Joel Lyle, right? This goes all the way back. Anybody who's ever been in the league. Who do you think has the most consecutive losing seasons, and how many losing seasons in a row do you think they have? So seasons under 500%.
That can be anybody.
Anybody.
Like even myself.
Even yourself.
I think that's me.
I'm gonna go with me.
Oh man, Chris.
None of you are right. How many seasons do you think it is? First of all, for whoever you're picking.
4.
5.
3.
So the
Oh, pick a different
number is 6.
Dang.
And Brennan.
Oh man.
Brennan.
Rest
Oh,
in
R.I.P.
peace.
You know
Brennan.
what's funny about that is that Brennan. Here, let me go to his thing real quick. Because if I'm not mistaken, where did Brennan's thing go? I lost him. Hold on. There he is. Brennan was only in the league 6 years.
Never had a winning season.
Nah,
Every
every
year?
year.
Wow. That's
Oh
surprising.
my
Every year.
gosh.
I thought he did well.
He thought he did well. Well, let's see. What was his best finish?
Well, you didn't think he did that bad.
His best finish would have been.
That's why he
got
quit.
third. He went 6 and 7 and finished in 3rd place.
Beautiful.
He did have one, so that's like consecutive losing regular seasons, because he did have one like decent year in the playoffs, and that gave him a winning season or whatever for like the whole year, but just regular season. All right, let's see what else. Let me just pick randomly here. Who has had the most wins to start a season but then still missed the playoffs? I'll give you the number. It's 3. Who started off 3-0 and then still missed the playoffs?
Adam.
Chris.
It was
It
Adam.
wasn't me.
It probably had to be with the 8-team league. So I'm going to say Hoffa.
Manny.
It was Luke.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
no, Luke.
Oh,
It
poor
was
Luke.
in-
What year was that?
Boom.
Let's see. Luke, it was in 2017.
Man.
2017.
That's crazy.
That's rough.
Started off 3-0, and then let's see, what did you finish that year at? You finished the year at 6 and 7.
Mm.
And you missed the playoffs.
Dang.
Dang.
I'm sorry, Luke.
Sorry, Luke.
That was a hard year for you.
Sorry, Luke. All right, you
That
want
was
another
rough.
one?
Disappointment.
Definitely Houston Texan, that one.
Yeah, do another
Would you
one.
like another one?
Let's do this.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, let's keep it
Who,
going.
League trivia.
I don't even know if I could if this one's worth like
It is.
Asking or just telling? I'll come back to that one. All right, let's see.
Oh.
Who has had the most points scored against them in a season?
Like total points or like one
So
game?
in one season, they had 1,960.18 points scored against them.
Me.
Brian.
Who said?
It's Adam.
Me.
Oh, wait.
Me.
No, it wasn't. It was Adam. It was Adam this year.
Yep.
This year.
I feel like one year I was close. I had a lot of points against me.
I felt it too. I really felt it in my bones.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, people scoring more points than you, you'd be all right, huh?
So Adam, that
The
stat.
disparity was huge. I think I scored the least amount of points and had the most
You can
points
use that
scored on.
stat to defend your honor a little bit, Adam. Like you had a really horrible season because everybody went off on
It's not
you.
worth it. I mean,
Yeah. Gotta be careful. You'll get kicked out next.
you can only defend it for so long because it's not like I scored a lot of points either. So
Yeah, but you could have done better if people didn't score a lot more.
that's fair. I think Louis, one of his games against me was one of his few over 100.
That's the crazy thing about fantasy football, though, is if someone scores more points than you, you lose.
And if they do it every week, you lose
works.
every week.
Until
It never changes.
until you play Louis, who just can't score.
Well, Louis and I went 1-1 for the regular season, I think.
So the Patriots have the highest points by any defense in our league of all time, 35 points. That was when Luke had them that year that you were talking about.
Yes, it's a good year.
35 points by a defense. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, here's one I was gonna ask. Let me go back to it and find it again. All right, so
Let's do it.
it's the I can ask this either way, but who lost by 89.7 points in a given week?
Lost by
That's
89
the
points?
largest defeat, like the margin of defeat.
Luke.
It is not,
Not
Chris.
Luke,
I don't think it was me.
In
I don't
fact,
think it was
Chris
me.
won this game.
Louis.
Oh.
Oh.
He won by Chris beat somebody by 89.7.
So Manny.
Manny.
Dom.
Nope. It's
Dom!
not Dom.
Speaking of Dom, bring him in! No.
Oh, that's funny. But no.
Fantastic.
It was not. It was against Brennan again.
Ooh, that's rough.
Brennan's got some really bad, It was in the playoffs actually. He lost 146 to 56.
That's terrible. And that's why we had a trial for Brennan and kicked him
So
out.
basically 90 points. There was
I believe, wasn't there a game last season that Dave, you won only scoring like 57 points?
I don't think so. Most of my games last season were over 100. I did pretty well with the point scoring last year.
I forget whose game it was. There was definitely one that was like real low scoring, like really low, like both teams
just
involved.
this past year.
Some real
Yeah.
That had to be with Louis.
We had like the biggest like blowout game like ever this year with me and Nate.
Oh yeah, bust off game. Yeah.
Is that what it's going down as? Because Dave wants to claim that title.
Hey, listen, it's a pet name I have for Nate.
It's a pet name.
We'll have him on next week to talk about it.
Bring him on, bring him on. Well, this was fun. I feel like we might not have had a whole lot of like great guiding like questions initially, but it was
We'll
so
get
fun.
better.
That's always gonna get better.
We got there.
It's a quick hour.
I don't think we really grilled Adam as much as maybe we should have.
Well, let's go. Adam, what's your
I'm
favorite
good- I'm
taco?
good
What's your
for it.
favorite thing to put on a taco? Go.
Shredded.
All right,
cheddar
favorite thing to put
cheese.
on a hot dog.
Ketchup.
Where do you start washing your body first in the shower?
My
How old were
right
you when
arm.
you
If you
started
had to
losing
pick
your
one
hair?
player, yeah.
How old were
What?
you when you started losing your hair?
20. 22.
If you had to adopt
Maybe
one
earlier?
football player, who would you want to adopt to be? And you're his daddy.
Aaron Donald.
Ooh, you rock that thing to sleep.
Wow. Okay.
And that's a wrap, folks.
If you had to say,
On that note-
one thing to try to bring Manny back, what would you tell him?
No.
No, he said no. We'll talk about that next week too. Bum bum
Manny, did
bum.
you hear that?
What if he watches this, Adam? That's what you want me to hear from you?
Oh yeah, I heard it.
If he
Manny ain't
watches
watching
this,
nothing.
Then I tried to reach out to him through multiple forms of communication as proper legal counsel, and he left me in the lurch. I prepared
In
for
the
his
lurch.
case as well.
All that effort you put forth just to get dropped. Before
it
you
felt
start
like
it.
you were working
For
for
real.
the prosecution all throughout.
That's only because my client decided to further disrespect me.
The
Man,
funny thing is, I'm probably the most hated, and I said the least
No, I might have said the least.
about it.
I don't know. You haven't really talked to him yet, though, Luke. So he might really hate you. All right, Adam. If you had to play one position in the NFL right now and be good at it, what would you play?
Good at it.
Right
long
guard.
snapper.
Okay, good.
Right
You'd have to
guard.
be the
I'd
long,
hate that.
Nose
You'd have
guard.
to be the long snapper.
So he's going up against Aaron.
Oh yeah, that's
'Cause they're
fair.
not
That's
allowed
probably
to, like,
better.
get hit.
He's going up against Aaron Donald. Then he decided, right?
There you
Is that how it
go.
is?
Good
Yeah,
job.
I'm one of the 4 people that are going to be put on Aaron Donald during the game. My son.
Oh,
My
this was
son.
fun. My son. Hallelujah.
Classic.
I'd love to
This thing
see
ended
Adam
great.
have to actually try to block somebody for like just a minute. It'd be amazing.
I tried against a college football player, and he almost destroyed.
Oh, yeah, that was-
almost destroyed my entire
That was Chase
body.
Young.
No, definitely not. He wasn't even like a good college football player. He was just like a college football player.
I'm pretty sure in a Pepper Bowl I punched you in the throat. So
I mean, that's fair. I've never once been considered athletic.
Yeah, but you're gonna play that long snapper like a champion.
Remember the time we had a conversation and you were
Yeah.
talking about like you played soccer back in your prime? Like
My
and he
prime,
was like-
fourth
he was
grade,
like,
baby.
"Well, now
I was
Back
an
in middle
incredible
school.
goalie when the goal was still small, and I was just a monstrous kid. You couldn't get a thing past me. Once they made the goals bigger, it was a different
Like
story,
Adam,
but-
stand here.
he's got hockey nets, soccer nets.
Oh my gosh.
Once I had to jump to like get either side.
had to jump?
It is what it is. I was 9, so I could still jump. None of this now nonsense.
Oh, that was a great ending. That was fantastic.
all right, the hot seat with Adam is over.
Oh my gosh.
Adam's hot seat.
That was quick and
Amen.
fast.
Well, should I do our outro as our intro as our outro?
Do the outro.
All right,
Outro!
Welcome to the Love Podcast. This is the podcast for fantasy football. The only thing we love, baby. Woo!
Oh, I was late.
Woo! Oh, my fault.
Goodbye, people. We're just gonna keep
Yeah, let it
listening
go.
to it.
We're just sticking around for the whole
All right.
thing, baby.
Wasting minutes.
Hopefully you can actually hear the stuff that I add in this week.